Hi guys, and welcome to your Lunch Bites daily news segment with Chelsea. I'm excited to have you all here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to give you guys just a couple minutes to join, and then we're going to dive right in. Today's will not be nearly as long as yesterday's. Thank you guys for joining. If you guys who are joined right now, if you're on an iOS device, will you just swipe right and invite your followers, because we're going to talk about the top 8 headlines, and I would love to hear your opinions. I was in broadcast journalism, as you can see, and you cannot speak with bias, but because this newscast is all mine, I get to serve up the bias on the side, and my opinion comes for free. So that's a little fun that I get to have, and I would love your opinions too. So please be sure that you're inviting your followers. Please share this on your social media, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you're following me. So as new people join, if Katie, I know that you're on here, if you could just remind them to please invite followers and be joining me. I'm just giving you guys a couple minutes to join. A lot of people seem to watch the replay, as I know you're busy at work, but these news bites, guys, are going to make you the hit of your lunch with your coworkers, your dinner with your family, your water cooler conversation. I promise you. Thank you, Katie, so much. You shared it on Facebook for me, and you invited your followers. Aces, love you, girl. Thank you so much. We've got some very interesting headlines today. I have started doing a little different prep for my news bites. Instead of only taking Refinery 29's headlines and just reading them, I'm going in and reordering them into a way I like better. And sometimes I may look at different sources, add in a couple more things. Hey, thanks so much for joining our top headlines. We're just about to get started, so you're not too late. Thanks so much. Let's see, Capkin Carol. I think I said that right. If not, I'm so sorry. Thanks for joining. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and dive in. If you're not following me, please do. I do this every single day, and I promise you to keep it at we usually go between about 10 and 30 minutes. I like to keep it about 15, 20, so we don't take up too much of your time, but yet you know what's going on. And we usually have some pretty unique news here that's not always what's circulating everywhere. So are you guys ready? Let's go. Let's dive in. Let's have some lunch bites together. How about that? Okay, so let's start with some major news right here at home. So we all know about that San Bernardino case with the iPhone that went back and forth with the FBI and Apple. Were they going to unlock it, etc.? Well, we know that ended because the FBI was able to unlock the phone. Okay, so there's the backstory on that. So the first headline we have is major news. The FBI plans to help the FBI plans to help local authorities hack iPhones. See, I was trying to make it sound better, help unlock them. But no, we're going to call it just straight up hacking them. So the FBI is going to help local authorities hack iPhones. And reportedly, after they unlocked the San Bernardino shooter's phone, the FBI has told local enforcement authorities that it will provide technical aid in unlocking devices such as iPhones moving forward. So I think this is actually a really great happy medium, because Apple was all for saying, no, we don't want to provide a security breach by hacking our own systems, because they do have algorithms that make it so even they have a hard time hacking things, kind of like Bitcoins. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they do have 2 key codes, and it makes it very difficult. Their encryption is really strong. So what we do know about the San Bernardino phone is that it was not upgraded to the most recent updates. So guys, that's just a reminder for you guys. Every time you see an update, hear about one on the news, you see that little number 1 in red on your iOS device next to the updates or the general software little gear, just make sure as soon as you can, plug into power and go ahead and update your phone, because that's part of how they were able to find a way in, because it was not as secure as possible. So if you want your device as secure as possible, do not wait to do those updates. I know sometimes they report issues with the updates. Let me tell you, Apple always fixes them and will give you a new update that fixes it. So if I were you, I just want to remind you, make sure you're keeping up with those updates, because otherwise this is how they were able to actually get into that phone. So I think it's good. They're putting in the FBI's hands, and Apple can stay strong, and we can keep trusting them as far as security goes. So that's what I have to say about that. Let's move on to some world news, guys. So we're got some broad view going on right now. So world news. Poland's prime minister is backing the country's Catholic Church in an effort to ban abortion. This isn't minor, guys. This is a huge deal. Completely banning abortion. Okay, so I thought this was just going to be like in case of this or in case of that. No, no, no. This is an all or nothing. Catholic churches and the Polish government are proposing a reform that will rule out abortion completely. Under the change, women in Poland who become pregnant as a result of rape would be required to give birth to that child. They would also be forced to give birth even when the pregnancy threatened their own health. So I am not going to go into an argument of for or against abortion. That's not where I'm going with this conversation. However, I think it's important, yeah, this is very sticky. I think it's important that countries take a stand on something, because there's that old adage that your mama probably told you, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. So it is important to take a stand. But I know, for instance, it's a very personal experience for me, but my mom, she almost died having me because of her own body. She just had some complications. Now, the doctor has told her, even now today, she could get pregnant, she could carry a child, she could even birth the child, but she would die in childbirth. So only one of them would survive, and it would be the child. So my parents decided that they would stop with me. So I'm an only child, and that's why. But, so when I think of that from a very personal experience, it concerns me, because I think, oh no, like that would mean my mom would die. There's so many ways to look at it. I agree with Katie. It's very sticky. What I'm hoping, though, is that if they do this, they will increase their their ease of access to birth control. I don't know right now what their policy is. I'm sorry for you and your mom. That's tough. It's okay. My dad wanted 3 or 4 kids, I think, and my mom wanted like 1, so they settled on 2, and they got me. So I told them, I was all you needed. And some days they agreed with me. But for the most part, I tried to be a good little child. But anyway, so what I'm hoping is if they do pass this, I'm hoping in tandem that they make birth control really accessible as far as cost and everything else, because like you guys said, it gets really, really sticky. So what I also find interesting, I know they're proud of you. Oh, that's sweet of you to say, Katie. It's so precious. Some of you guys have met my parents on Periscope, because I do a daily news that I try to keep professional, but also I like to chat with you a little bit. But I also do a little bit of frivolity, fun-volity, and sometimes you guys get to meet my friends and family, and that's sweet of you that you you would think that from just meeting them briefly. They won't. Birth control is against the church, unless it's medical reasons. Okay, Katie, she brings up a brilliant point. I was brought up more on the straight up like Baptist Christian side versus any Catholic upbringing, so I wouldn't have thought of that. She makes a very good point. They do not condone birth control. She said it may not be used for reasons of actually controlling women from having chickens. Oh, I loved that typo. She meant children, but she corrected it, but I loved the typo. Y'all women, we need to just stop having some chickens. That made my day, Katie. Oh my goodness, that's the best part of this newscast. Y'all can just leave. I'm kidding. Stay. We've got a really great last couple headlines I've saved for last. But anyway, yeah, that's a really great point. In my mind, in Chelsea world, this is a signal for Chelsea world. All my family and friends know it, because I seem to come up with the perfect solution that won't actually work, but they just do this. We have to Facebook that typo. Absolutely. I think I might just clip this video, probably go viral. put it on Vine or something. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be interesting too, because you're right, the Catholic Church does not support birth control the same way that we think of in general, everyday, any other religion or other senses. I guess there are other religions that don't support it either. Whew, well, that is going to be dicey. I wonder if it'll pass. I don't think it's saying it has passed yet. So let's move on. We've actually got 2 more stories about birth control in the news, which is interesting. You guys, I have lipstick in my teeth, and I'm sorry. I've been trying to get it out. And I just can't do it. Perhaps you should explain why. I will explain why. I could be wrong, but my understanding is that their belief is if God wills it, the child will be conceived, and if not, it will not be. They don't believe in that medical intervention, is my understanding. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go on, though, to a couple other headlines just so we okay, good. Guys, I got it right. Yay, gold star for me. So we're going to move on to the next headline. It actually has to do with birth control, and so does the next one. I don't know why this is so big in the news today, but so we're going to come back home, and we're now in the States, So back home, women in California can now get birth control straight from their pharmacist. So kind of a completely opposite story from being harnessed, very restrained from getting birth control. Now women in California don't necessarily even have to go to their doctor. Now, I thought this was very interesting. A 2013 bill that would allow women to get birth control straight from their pharmacist took effect as California law last Friday. That was April 1st, and it was no April Fool joke. Now pharmacists in the state of California may prescribe the pill, patch, or ring to women of any age, get that, any age, as long as those women answer a few questions about their health. So I found that really interesting, and I can see it from a couple sides. One, it may be a really good thing because women that are young and sexually active, I'm not saying that I condone that, but I know that it happens, and are not on a birth control, but maybe should be based. I know that that's also debatable. Or at least should be monitored or something, but don't want to go to a doctor because then maybe they'd have to tell their mom or they'd have to tell somebody and they don't want to. This way, they can just talk to a pharmacist. Now, what my question is it free? Because sometimes under like certain Obamacare things, birth controls are free, but certain ones aren't, and they have to run your insurance. And I'm wondering what Mama and Daddy are going to say when they get the insurance bill or the insurance notification about it, and the daughter didn't think about that. Who would talk to a pharmacist at that age? That's a good point, but also probably someone who's desperate to be sure they don't get pregnant, because Mom and Daddy probably would really kill them. And they don't want to go to an OBGYN because then they have to tell Mom and Daddy. So, I don't know. Interesting. I'm just saying I have a hard time talking to my daughter about sexual health ready step. Yeah. Well, a lot of people too, if you're young and sexually active and you know that your parents, your doctor. Yeah. Well, if you're young and you're sexually active and you know your parents won't approve, then you know they're not going to take you to an OBGYN, or you know that at least you have to admit that to them first, and that could cause a whole family controversy. But this way, you can just take yourself to, I use CVS. You can go to CVS and just say, hey, pharmacist, I have something embarrassing to talk to you about, and you don't have to make an appointment. There's a lot of things you can get around. My question, though, is would the insurance rat them out? And they not expect that. That'll be interesting. We'll see how that plays out. See if we hear about any stories from that happening. So then let's move on to headline number 4. Again, it's our last birth control story, but again, really big news today. So 20 women share stories of complications related to a product called Assure, and it's a non-hormonal permanent birth control device. So you've heard of all kinds of birth control. We all know about the daily pill that everyone forgets to take, that you're supposed to take at the same time every day, and no one does it, and it's a problem. And then they created stuff that can be done every 3 weeks, and then every month, and then things that stay in for up to 3 years, and then things that are up to I think even like I heard one maybe 10 years. I don't know if that was accurate, but I heard about it somewhere. Anyway, they've come up with all these different things. Now there's one that's permanent, which is confusing to me because wouldn't you just have either, if you're a male, a vasectomy, or if you're a woman, wouldn't you have your tubes tied? Maybe that's a sensitive topic, but if it's permanent, and there's all these complications, I'm just confused. I would want to ask the 20 women, just no judgment, but why? Why was that your choice? Also, it's supposed to be exciting because it's non-hormonal. So a lot of people know that the progesterone and the estrogen in a lot of these pills have good as well as bad side effects. So I also wonder how in the heck it works. But anyway, that's another biology lesson, y'all. We're not going there. But the research says, since Ensure, well, and this just sounds like a load of fun. Listen to this. Since Ensure, which is a set of small metal coils. So they put these small metal coils in your fallopian tubes, ladies. Doesn't that sound like more fun than just going to get your tubes tied and getting it over with? But anyway, for whatever reason, there must be a plus because these women chose to have a set of small metal coils placed in the fallopian tubes, and this was approved by the FDA in 2002. But since then, thousands, you hear that? Thousands of American women apparently, okay, so this surprises me because, well, I'll tell you that in a minute, but thousands of American women have come forward with stories of injuries and malfunctions related to the device. So, you know how they say when things are reported, it doesn't necessarily show the full picture because not everyone's going to report an issue. So if thousands of women are reporting this, that's not accurate for real. Like there's more than thousands. And that means even more than that actually signed up for this because I bet there were actually, positive success stories with this. And I truly, to my bones, to my core, want to know why they chose this versus getting your tubes tied. I mean, I know that they say sometimes there's issues with that, but it's so rare. And it's such a routine procedure. And I'm confused. If anybody knows, shout it out. Let me know. If you're seeing this on a replay or on my archive on YouTube, send me a DM on Twitter at Chelsea Roadman telling me why. If you are one of the women who has this, I am not putting you down. I'm just baffled and I want to understand. This is my longing to understand face. That's what this is, okay? So please don't feel belittled. Feel like you're empowered to give me information. But here's what the rest of it, here's the rest of the information you need. It says that after all of these things were reported, it says, but it wasn't until, of course, the media caught on to a Facebook group called Ensure Problems in 2013. Well, it's not Ensure, I'm sorry, it's Essure, E-S-S-U-R-E, Essure Problems in 2013. The concern over the device reached a fever pitch. Now, my reaction to that is, that was 2013, y'all. Last time I checked, we're in 2016. Why is this a headline of the day? I'm confused. I'm confuzzled. There's so much about this story that I don't understand. I don't like not understanding, and I want to. So like I said, if you see this now on the replay, on catch.me, all my broadcasts go to katch.me/Chelsea Roadman, or on my archive on YouTube, youtube.com/C/Chelsea Roadman, or youtube.com/user/Chelsea Roadman vlog, VLOG. Good Lord, you could be seeing this anywhere. I want to know. So I hope that one of the thousands of people involved in Essure will tell me why they chose it and maybe the positive or negative experience they had. And why in the world we're not hearing about this for 3 years. Why? Okay, so I think we need to put that to bed. Just let it sleep. Okay. And we're going to move on to headline number 5, which is something a little more nami-nami. It's about Starbucks. Starbucks is bringing back an oldie this week. It's throwback week, I guess. The Caramel Cocoa Cluster Frappuccino. Try to say that 5 times fast. The Caramel Cocoa Cluster Frappuccino. I had to practice that before I did it for the news. So, remember the Caramel Cocoa Cluster Frappuccino? It came out last year when Starbucks brought customer-inspired secret frap packs to the official menu, and consumers ended up loving the chocolatey caramel drink. Okay, so the first thing I have to say is, okay, it's a chocolatey caramel drink. Need they say more? Like, did there need to be more to the headline than there's a chocolatey caramel drink at Starbucks? Go get it? I'd be like, yes, sir. I'm going. But you guys know there's tons of websites and even iPhone, Android apps that are dedicated to the secret menus of a lot of places, but it started with Starbucks. Because as my mom likes to say when she goes to a restaurant, she looks at the menu and she says, well, if they can make this dish and that dish, it means that they have all of the ingredients to make this other dish that I would rather have. So I'm going to ask if they can do that for me. So the same principle applies to what people are asking them to do at Starbucks, saying, well, if you have all of these flavorings and all of this and that, I'd kind of rather have a magical mystery drink called this. And so I'm going to give you the directions, and can you please put it together for me? And so they decided, I think it's really cool. Their reaction to that was not to be frustrated, which I could easily see them being frustrated, but not to be frustrated, but instead to embrace it and say, alright, cool, let's put something on the menu. That was one of the customers' favorites, and it was a big hit. So this week they're bringing it back. So go check out Starbucks, get yourself one of those nami-nami chocolatey caramel drinks. Tell me how it was. I would love to hear about it. So we're going to move on to headline number 6, you guys. We're going to definitely keep this one at 30 minutes, thankfully. We're talking about some celebrity news here. Is it too late to say sorry? Fans are not too pleased with Justin Bieber's new dreadlocks. After spending, after a few months after sporting cornrows in another country, which Bieber himself admitted was misguided. I don't know why, but I suppose he thinks this time there was misguided. The pop star is at it again. His culturally appropriate hairstyle of choice, and this time it's dreadlocks. Many fans are unsurprisingly displeased. Y'all, I saw a picture and it gave me like Rihanna flashbacks. I think she went through a dreadlocks phase, if I'm not incorrect. Ugh. I just feel like at night, one night, you know, I think of the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, like Calypso. That's what I always think of. And then I always like imagine you're sleeping at night and like a bug crawls out of your dreadlocks. I don't know. I think it's because I don't have them. I can't imagine them. But I've had lots of friends with them and they love it. They're like, it's so easy to maintain, yo, and it's great. And so, you know, power to you. If you have dreadlocks, power to you. Because I'm not that strong of a woman, I think. I can't do it. But good for you. Not so great for Justin Bieber. He doesn't pull them off, like, at all. It's not good. He's trying to do, like, a comb-over with them. Y'all have to look up a picture. All right, headline number 7, and this is an exciting one if you're a child of the 80s or 90s. Backstreet Boys back. All right, y'all. Nick Carter confirmed that Backstreet Boys are reuniting for a Las Vegas residency. I wasn't allowed when I was really, really young to listen to Backstreet Boys, but then when I got older in my rebellious years, of course I did. So this is pretty exciting. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight's Katie Krause this weekend, Nick Carter confirmed the Backstreet Boys are reuniting for a Las Vegas residency. The news comes after Carter's bandmate AJ McLean hinted at the possibility of a Vegas reunion last month, and then Carter just decided to let the cat out of the bag and say, yep, guys, it's happening. So, Backstreet Boys, they're back. All right. So, I'm wondering if they're going to have new music or if it's just going to be like the oldies. Of course, everyone's going to want to hear the oldies. Like, what else? I mean, I really can't imagine them debuting new music. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll be in some more headlines. All right, guys, we made it to our final headline of the day, and it is certainly a talking point if I've ever heard one. So, the murderer referenced on Sunday night's episode of the show Girls has died in prison. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so in a twist, it was announced on Monday that Winston Mosley, the man who murdered Kitty Genovese, died in prison last week at the age of 81. Mosley had been imprisoned for more than 50 years, making him one of the longest-serving prisoners in the state. So, that's something to talk about, especially if you or your fellow coworkers, family, friends, anybody watches this show, Girls. So, thank you guys so much for joining me on today's episode of Lunch Bites. I'm so excited to talk to you if you're watching the replay, if you're watching it on YouTube, no matter where you're watching it, maybe on Facebook. Love to have you, love to talk to you. I will be back tomorrow with some more of the top 8 headline news. We didn't really get a great tech update today, and that just makes me sad. So tomorrow, I'll have to make sure I've got a good one for you because you know it's my favorite. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining Lunch Bites with Chelsea. And you know I'm off to go do my Alpha Bites Challenge. So I hope you're following me on Instagram and Snapchat at Chelsea Roadwinds. Check that out, too. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great, great rest of your Tuesday. Bye, guys.